showcasing three new, unique single vineyard wines in this offering from the spectacular 2020 vintage. So as I'm sure everyone remembers, 2020 was known for two things. It was the year of COVID, and also for wine country, it was the year that had two pretty devastating fires. And you can make the case that it was the worst natural disaster in Napa history. But for us, we were fortunate, blessed that because of our protocols of picking in September regularly, we were pretty much finished harvesting our property before the glass fire came through on September 27th. And this is the single most sort of easily transferable data point that shows why our wines are a little bit different than Napa wines in general, is that we pick in September and most of Napa starts in October. So because of that, and also because of our exposure to the east and having so much sunshine, we do ripen a little bit earlier. But we do like to retain fabulous natural acidity, the natural subtle complexity that make each varietal recognizable, an element of savoriness to go with the sweetness you get from ripe, Napa fruit, and to make truly balanced wines that go with food and age for a long time. But our two main wines are the Napa Cabernet and the Napa Merlot that make up about almost 7,000 cases of our 12,000 case production. And both of those wines have fruit from other areas. And the Carneros Merlot had smoke taint from the glass fire, and the Pope Valley Cabernet had smoke taint from the LNU fire, which took place in the eastern mountains in August. So it gave us a chance to sort of rethink how we would show off our estate. So we made, I think, a total of 5 new single vineyard wines, and these are 3 of them. So the 2 Cabernets they're really a neat pair. Clone 15 is a clone from Bordeaux, and Clone 7 is a Davis clone. And they really do, I think, represent their place of origin. The Clone 15 to me tastes more like an old world wine with a little bit more of a smattering of savoriness and earthiness and complex notes in the nose that are almost undefinable in that mysterious, wonderful old world sense. And then the Clone 7 Cabernet has that deeper vein of sweet, crowd-pleasing fruit that is a wonderful marker. And these two vineyards, these 2 blocks, almost alternate every other year as to who's going to be the basis for our reserve Cabernet. And again, it took us 25 years to get to the point with our program before we made our first reserve Cabernet, and that was 2001. And that was off some pretty young fruit from the replantings we did in 1998 and 1997. So it's been a foundation of our reserve program since. It's really, I think these 2 wines are really fun to show together. And this is a unique, I think, once only opportunity that we're probably going to do this, to get these 2 wines into your cellar and enjoy their distinctive differences. And yet you can tell they're both Keenan wines. They have our trademark elements of acidity and complexity and balance to both, but they're easily recognizable as different. And then the other wine we're offering is a single vineyard Merlot from our upper bowl, from block number 1, which we've never done before. And I think it's just amazing to think of the timelines that we've been able to witness over the last 26 years since the replanting has been completed. And it's really curious to see how different vineyards have taken different times to really hit full maturity. The 337 Cabernet block, which again is another Bordeaux clone, I took 9 years to find its groove. And its neighboring clone, Clone 15, I think took 4 years, as well as the Clone 7. The Chardonnay vineyard took 12 years to mature. And then in the case of this Upper One Merlot that we're doing for the first time, I think it took 24 years for this block to really become expressive. And it's just amazing to me to see this difference in time. And also, I think it's really fun to point out that, we're the first winemakers, first vintners to ever grow Bordeaux varietals on our property. The winery that was here before us, the Conradi winery from roughly 1890 to 1930, grew Zinfandel in Alicante and Carignan, and made, a Zinfandel Mountain Field Blend, which I think was the most dominant grape in Napa in 1900. So in a way, we're pioneers. We're the first people to do this and to see these timelines and to make these notes. And to me, it's just fascinating. And I'm really proud to show these wines off. I think it's a wonderful 3-pack and a chance to have some wines that are truly unique from, again, the 2020 growing season was up until the fire. Again, we were pretty much done picking our place by that date. It was as near a perfect growing season as I've ever seen in my 26 years of being at the helm of the winery. The weather was perfect. The clusters were perfectly even, beautifully shaped. They went through the color change veraison as evenly as I've ever seen. The harvest conditions were sunny and not too hot. It was just perfect. So these are really, really collectible wines, and I urge you to grab some of these. We've made these in very small production, between 100 and 300 cases for each of these three. So again, a unique opportunity to enjoy some wonderfully distinct wines off of our estate. So cheers.